intertwined. Tune in now, leave reality behind. Let's face gloom and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. No mercy, no light, only raw might. Prepare your soul for an endless night. Stone riffs bound, rhythm takes hold. Welcome to the abyss, let the tale unfold.
Ooh, yeah. The right button is pushed.
The belly can't stay asleep. Young magic, brown liquid deep. Give me the strength to face the day. One more cup and I'm on my way. Beans are roasted, smells so sweet. Grinding down to make my treat. Pour it out, nice and hot. Morning brew just hits the spot. Oh, I'm
Crazy about coffee. We's crazy about coffee. Can't get enough. It's got me. Do me a window capture. There's a window capture. Hey, cold brew. Ha ha ha. When I was a kid, I used to laugh about that funny cartoon. Let's go get some cold brew. Ha ha's. I never thought in a million years that, like, I would grow up and have the voice to do that voice. It's weird. You know what's even more weird? American politics.
And I think I have the credibility for this prediction. Every time he's been done crazy shit and gotten himself in trouble, I said, no, it's not over. I've said that. Tonight I'm saying, I think it's over.
The post-debate bad news keeps pouring in for Donald Trump as the polls are devastating, and comedian, political commentator, and well-known cynical prophet Bill Maher has finally made a very optimistic prediction about the 2024 election, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to talk about and watch in this video. Bill Maher, again, controversial comedian and political commentator. He tends to be more centrist than I'd like. He tends to give more voice to niche culture war nonsense than I'd like. But when it comes to electoral politics, he's pretty reliable in the fact that he recognizes Trump as an authoritarian threat to democracy, that the MAGA Republican Party is absolutely insane, and that the Democratic Party is by far the better governing party.
Welcome to Star Trek Fleet Command. In this game, you will have to make important strategic decisions.
I'm tired of this. Stop showing me these
He's
ads.
also a cynic. He has made some very cynical predictions and assessments about the state of electoral politics in the Trump age, many of which have been bad for Democrats and consequential for the country. And we'll get into some of those historic predictions and assessments to establish
like I
Maher's
said,
credibility.
he's semi-reliable.
But even this cynic, this curmudgeonly cynic who tends to see the worst in things, he has a very optimistic prediction about the state of politics and the 2024 election after Trump's disastrous beatdown at the hands of the vice president. Here it is.
All right, I'm going to make this a very momentous night with a prediction.
And his
because
glasses are always super perfect.
And I think I have the credibility for this prediction because I have been called a Trump alarmist for a very long time. They were
will
wrong.
call you the
I was right.
crookedest glasses
He wasn't going
on
to leave
television.
power. Okay, but ever since then, and since the Hollywood Access tape where he said, I'm going to grab him by the pussy, and he survived that. Every time he's been done crazy shit and gotten himself in trouble, I said, no, it's not over.
We just
I've
love
said
him
that.
more.
I've argued with people, Brett Stevens.
And that's the thing. Like, Trump supporters are all like, but y'all call us names. Y'all call us bad. Y'all say that we're this and we're that. But it's like, but I mean, look, like Trump comes out and says awful shit. But we just love him more. He gets caught doing unlawful things. But we just love him more. They've got flags now. I'm voting for the convicted felon. It's like, really? You know, it's like the worse he is, the more you guys love him. I mean, it's like he could come out and kick a baby off a cliff, and you guys would be, we just love him more. And you would find a way to twist it in your brains that, well, the Democrats made him do that, and now we just love him more. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There is no depths to his depravity, and there is no bottom. That there is no bottom for his supporters. They are the bottoms, honestly. In this dynamic, they are his bottoms. But there is no bottom of the barrel for them. It just, however low you think they can go, they'll go lower. And the lower he goes, well, we just love him more. That just makes us love him more. The more you guys prove he's an awful person, the more we love him. And that's literally what they say. I mean, that's grooming in action.
Friend, he's on the show next week. He said at one point a few years ago, the Trump thing, I said, no. Tonight I'm saying, I think it's over. I just want to bring up an analogy to one person. Even before we were around, there was a guy named Joe McCarthy in the early 50s, and he had a hold on America. And it blew out in about 2 years, right? 2-3 years. He was the biggest thing, and then it was just, and I feel like eating the dogs, we're at this point. I feel like we're at the Captain Queeg with the strawberries. We're at Denzel at the end of Training Day. I'm King Kong up here. I just think he's going to lose.
I hope so.
So there you go. Bill Maher, well-known cynic, a guy, again, we're going to establish some of his bona fides. He thinks that Donald Trump's debate performance was so disastrous that this is the end of Trump. And he's referring specifically to one of the viral moments in which Donald Trump publicly signal boosted a conspiracy theory that Haitian immigrants.
He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. Bill is 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 wrong. Who's that? And here's the proof. Here's the proof that Bill is wrong. Bill is wrong. No, they're doubling down and getting even more racist.
Yo,
is chickens on the grill.
what is this they got on the grill?
Whole chickens. It's whole chickens. I mean, I've seen whole chickens. There's a wing right there. No, they doubled down. They doubled down. Look at this. Communicable diseases, car accidents. See? See? They doubled down on the racism. No, it didn't lose him shit. Yeah, they doubled down. There's the guy that's supposed to be vice president doubling down on the racism. Literally doubling down on the racism. So no, it didn't lose him anything. It just activated the racist base more. That's why he's recruited Laura Loomer. Because at this point, Trump has completely abandoned any, like, he has literally abandoned the support of any non-racist, non-bigoted supporters. He doesn't want normal supporters. He wants the people who support Erdogan. He wants the people who support Kim Jong-un. He wants the people who support Xi Jinping? I forget his name. The Chinese guy. Leader of China. He wants the kind of people who support Netanyahu. He wants the kind of people who support Putin. And he has said this over and over. He has stated this. Why do you think he goes to his rallies and talks about how great it is? Same thing every fucking time. He'll name off one of these dictators. Kim Jong-un, lovely man. His people love him so much. They're so loyal. It's so great to see they're so loyal. They love him there. Erdogan, he's so strong. His people love him. They're loyal. They're so loyal. That's who he wants. He doesn't give a shit about the kind of people who agree with Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney, for example. He doesn't give one single shit about them. He wants the people who were dumping bleach and acid in the public swimming pools when they saw black people there. He wants the kind of supporters who were ready to murder Ruby Bridges for going into that school. He wants the support of the people who required the National Guard to be there to escort her. And he wants those kind of politicians. Because the thing you have to understand is the local politicians in Alabama were there blocking Ruby Bridges and threatening her and screaming at her. The mayor, the governor, what have you. They were down there screaming, just trying to stop the black students from going into the school, stoking the violence, saying all the same things Trump and Vance are saying now. And I challenge any motherfucker to prove me wrong. I challenge you to prove me wrong. I open the door for you to prove me wrong all day, every day, anytime, anywhere. Prove me wrong. I'm basing my stance on what the motherfuckers are actually saying and typing.
Immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, were eating people's cats and dogs. It is a conspiracy theory. It is perpetuating racist tropes. It's led to multiple bomb threats in public schools and public buildings in Springfield, Ohio. So it's endangering the lives of women, children, men, innocent people across this country, and the immigrants as well, including those innocents. So it's screwing everybody. Donald Trump's signal boosting of this nonsense. And Bill Maher says this is the end. This is the end of Donald Trump's political career. I'm not sure I am that optimistic, and I'm a well-known cynic as well. And I predicted that the vice president was going to kick his butt in the debate, and she did. And I'm very pleased with how things are going. But to me, it says something that somebody like Bill Maher, as cynical, pessimistic as he is, he thinks this is the end, that this is the death knell of Trump's political career. So I should say, to establish his credibility, this is a clip of an interview between Chris Cuomo when he was on CNN and Bill Maher back in 2019. So 2 years before the event that we're about to reference. But Bill Maher made a prediction a year and a half, 2 years in advance that Donald Trump would not observe the peaceful transfer of power if he lost the 2020 election and would not leave peacefully.
Give me a feel.
I said the
for
same
what
thing.
You think about.
I said the same shit. I
But
said there's
what
no
do
way
you
he's leaving
imagine
peacefully. He
happening
proved me right.
going forward. In whatever political.
Why I'm inviting anybody to prove me wrong now?
To
Because
take up your point that I've been
I'd love to
talking
be
about
wrong.
for
but
years now, almost
It's
3
just
years.
no matter how hard I try, I can't
A
be.
lot of people are talking about now is that if he loses Trump, he won't go.
I mean, you can
I've been
argue
saying
at
that
me
since
based on your
before he got
feelings.
elected, that if he loses
But
the
facts
second
don't care
time,
about your
and
feelings.
if he loses the coming election, and Michael Cohen said that, Nancy Pelosi said that, a lot of people now, and I think that is what we have to worry about, because a lot of people say, well, yes, it can happen here, meaning fascism, meaning something other than what is democracy. Now, I think we're already there. When the President of the United States is saying that the news is the enemy of the people, you know, I have a dictator checklist that I read on my show sometimes, things that no American president has ever done, but this president does. Appointing your family to key government positions. This is banana republic
So
stuff.
you think he wouldn't leave?
That is one of them. I absolutely think he will not leave.
So exactly how waterproof is the bearskin soft shell jacket? Let's just
How
say this is the
waterproof are
last
your butt
waterproof
cheeks?
jacket you ever need to buy. Because
You know what, though? It's not a
the
trash video
bearskin
game.
waterproof
I'll leave it.
There you go. And he didn't. He tried to stay in power unlawfully through a fake elector plot, through various BS lawsuits.
used
and then, of
everything
course,
up to and
through an
including violence.
insurrection, that led to that entailed rather and included a riot, a physical riot in which hundreds, if not thousands, of his supporters raided the United States Capitol and tried to murder the vice president of the United States and multiple members of Congress. So Bill Maher was right years in advance. I should also say this wasn't so much a prediction as it was an assessment, which turned out to be true just by the very decision that President Biden made. But this was several months ago, Bill Maher saying that he thinks that President Biden would lose to Donald Trump in the 2024 election, and that his ability to win the election is much more questionable than his ability to do the job.
Okay, what do you think of
Yeah.
prominent Democrats like David Axelrod calling for Biden to, quote, get out or get going? Did he say that? Get out or get going?
I believe in a tweet or two and some stuff. Look, people who think that Joe Biden is perhaps too old, they're right.
Perhaps.
Don't spill the water. Something might come out of it. It's not that. You know, everyone ages differently.
I agree. I've said,
And you know, so Betty White lived to be 99. Mick Jagger is still twisting his ass.
right. No, I've been the one making that case year after year here against ageism. I always said it's a case-by-case basis.
It's
but,
a case by
but for
case.
that argument to have teeth, you also have to be the person who can go, yeah, but this is the case. And I've said it before. Do I think Joe Biden can do the job? Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't think he can win the job. And that's what I care
Yeah,
about.
and
He's
Trump is
going
the
to
opposite.
lose because the people think he's
Trump
too
can
old.
win
And
the
listen,
job, but he can't do the job.
I want to turn to the Trump side of the ledger and talk about the fact that some figures in Donald Trump's orbit are concerned about someone who's been traveling with him lately. I'm talking about Laura Loomer, a far-right conspiracy theorist. She's called herself pro-white nationalism and a proud Islamophobe. These are things that this woman who is with Donald Trump has said. And yesterday, She was with Trump at 9/11 ceremonies in New York and Pennsylvania. This is someone who pushed a conspiracy that the attacks were an inside job with Donald Trump at Ground Zero, or at the areas in and around the 9/11 ceremonies. Loomer was also seen getting off Trump's plane in Philadelphia ahead of the debate, and some blame.
When I say she's toxic, I got something going on with the audio there. When I say Laura Loomer is toxic,
They just get better, like
I'm
Hardee's
not.
original bag.
I want to turn to the Trump side of the.
Oh, it's their audio. When I say Laura Loomer is toxic, I'm not just talking about her personality. I'm also referring to the amount of Botox she's injected into herself.
The ledger, and talk about the fact that some figures in Donald Trump's orbit are concerned about someone who's been traveling with ceremonies. Loomer was also seen getting off Trump's plane in Philadelphia ahead of the debate, and some blame her for putting stories like the immigrants eating pets lie into his head. She's even too extreme for Marjorie Taylor Greene, who isn't exactly a poster child for political correctness. Greene responded to a racist post that Loomer put up about Kamala Harris. Greene wrote, "This is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are as Republicans."
Yeah, see, look, the guy, might as well say guy, but the creature who has been cuddling and snuggling and giving hand jobs to Trump here recently. Kamala Harris wins. The White House will smell like curry. Racist. And White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center. Racist. And the American people will only be able to convey their feedback through a customer satisfaction survey at the end of the call that nobody will understand. Racist. Racism, racism, racism. The vice president is saying racist things. The president is saying, or the wannabe vice president is saying racist things. The wannabe president is saying racist things. The girl he's screwing right now is saying racist things. So yeah, if you're voting for this, you're voting for racism. You're knowingly and deliberately voting for racism. Because all this other shit, oh, blah, blah, I care about the economy and huh. No, you don't. Because his only fucking thing he has said on the we're going to do tariffs on China. It's going to pay for everything. Yeah, like Mexico paid for that wall, right? Where's the money Mexico was supposed to give us for the wall? Never saw a dime. But of course he goes, well, it's because the wall finished. We never got the money. Bullshit. Mexico themselves said, no, we're not giving you a dime for the wall. And the tariffs, his whole thing. Oh, we're going to do tariffs on China like nobody's ever seen. There's already tariffs on China and many other people. And it doesn't do shit. Okay? He put some tariffs on China. And you know what happened? Temu. Everybody saw the Super Bowl ad for Temu. So yeah, that comes after. So Trump does tariffs, and then Temu gets a Super Bowl ad because her sales surged so much. Tariffs have done nothing because that's not how tariffs work. A tariff is just a sales tax, and the seller doesn't pay it. The customer does. A tariff means that, like, let's say Canada produces a thing that costs $1. Well, if you drive across the border to buy it, it's $1. But if we put, say, 100% tariff on that, then that means that if you order it through the mail and have it shipped to you, you will have to pay an extra $1 on top of that dollar for the cost, as well as your shipping and handling, of course. But let's just say it's free shipping and handling. Well, you just paid $2 for that. The company isn't going to pay the extra dollar to ship it to you. No, if you want it, you pay the $2. So you're paying the extra dollar. You're paying the tariff. And that's how it is in every instance. That's why Biden knows how to do tariffs. Once again, that's why Biden's qualified for the job. Even though he's too old, he at least knows how the job works, and he surrounded himself with competent people who know how it works. For anyone who wants to say anything about the aides having sex in that room in the West Wing, I would have done the same fucking thing. And you would too. If you had an opportunity to have sex in the White House, you would. So stop lying and making a big deal out of it. My only question is, would I have been pitching or receiving? I don't know. I guess both. Just so I could tell both stories. This is what it's like both ways in the White House. But no, I mean, Biden put a 100% tariff. Okay, full setup. China makes these really, really good, they're high quality electric vehicles. And they cost a fraction of anything we're selling, which I don't know. We could probably, our car companies obviously could sell their cars at half the cost that they do and still make a killer profit. And if you don't believe me, just go look at their financial records. Look at their profits. Cut their profits in half and they're still billionaires. So, yeah, it's by choice because capitalism is dumb. But China makes high quality electric vehicles at a fraction and sells them for a fraction of the cost we do. Well, to stop them from flooding our market and therefore dominating our market, which would severely cripple our auto industry, which I am all for, by the way. I am all for crippling our auto industry. Because they need to make their shit affordable again. That's why. So yeah, I'm all for crippling our auto industry. I'm all for flooding our market with way more affordable cars, which would force our auto industry to drop the prices of theirs. I completely support that. So I disagree with Biden on that. But the point is he knew how to use the tariff intelligently and properly. To stop China from doing this, he put a 100% tariff on their vehicles. What this does is he wasn't going after China. The people in his crosshairs were not China or the Chinese auto industry. That's not who he was aiming that tariff at. He was aiming the tariff at American auto dealers. Because capitalism. Because American auto dealers will buy up these Chinese electric vehicles by the boatload. And our car lots will be filled with oceans of these vehicles. Of course, they'll be marked up because they're so cheap to buy. So the dealers would double the price. And we'd be buying them because they're really high quality, and even at double the price to us, it would still be more affordable than the stuff that's out there, considering that it's electric vehicle and everything else that goes along with that. But Biden did this 100% tariff, knowing that it would stop the auto dealers, because now it puts the cost of these vehicles too high for the auto dealers to do that. So now it's the auto dealerships. They would have to pay the price that they would be selling these vehicles at. So in order to make a profit, they would have to make them even higher, which, yeah, stops it from being a competitive sell and therefore not worth their while. Now, I don't agree with that. Because here's why. Capitalism is a lie. Capitalism is supposed to be about the free market, but the market isn't free. In America, there is no real, true capitalism in the spirit of the way it's explained and defined. Because in America, the capitalists control everything and moderate everything. So in true capitalism, in an actual free market, China would be allowed to drop as many of these, well, China, once again, it's not China. Our auto dealers would be able to buy as many of these vehicles as they wanted at the cost China is willing to sell them. And then they would, in turn, turn around and sell them to us for whatever market. And we would buy as many as we want. And if Ford and Tesla and Chevrolet, GMC, whatever, Dodge, whatever these companies are called, American Motors, whatever they're called, if any of these companies wanted to compete, well, adjust your fucking price. Do like what every other company do, like how they used to do. And that's just it. I mean, back in the day, gas stations used to war over who could sell the cheapest gas. Now it's over who can get away with selling the most expensive. And y'all fall for it. You drink it like mother's milk. Bunch of damn idiots. But I'm getting completely off the, I've gone off on a tangent. The point is, when a devil like Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying this, you should pay attention, although this is a lie. I mean, this is a lie. It does. I mean, this is Republicans and MAGA. I mean, that is who they really are. Laura Loomer is just the out loud version of Republicans and MAGA. But Marjorie is like, yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that stuff in public, is all she's doing. But it still says something. And it just shows how far off the fucking rails they've gone. That a piece of shit like Marjorie Taylor Greene is even going like, whoa, 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 this is too fucking far.
For MAGA, this does not represent President Trump. This type of behavior should not be tolerated ever. Now, Trump aides have tried for years to keep Loomer away from him. Obviously, that is not working. Tolu, what are you hearing?
Well, should dye her hair blonde?
There's a lot of concern that Trump is trying to sort of go back and recreate the 2016 narrative that he had, where he was sort of this upstart candidate, where he was saying things that were controversial, where he was bringing in people who were not part of the Republican establishment. He's trying to recreate that, but now he's bringing in people that are highly problematic, people that have these very noxious views about Americans who embrace racist ideology. And so there are people.
Laura Loomer is literally a product of the Republican establishment. I mean, she just says the stuff out loud that they're not supposed to say out loud anymore.
Who are trying to create the feeling that Trump has a professional organization, people like Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles. But when you bring in someone like Laura Loomer, you blow that up, and it makes it very clear, as we saw in the debate stage, that Trump is not going to have a professional approach. He's going to go, as we saw. When you bring in someone like
No, I'm not going to show you.
Laura Loomer, you blow that up, and it makes it very clear, as we saw on the debate stage, that Trump is not going to have a professional approach. He's going to go back to his instincts, which is to blow things up, and Laura Loomer is someone who's helping with that.
And he's certainly not trying to get any independent voters or suburban moms when they see this kind of behavior. Look, when you have Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that something's bad, you should really pay attention. He's invigorating MAGA only, and I think that's a huge mistake, dog whistling to the racist crowd. I guess he's banking everything.
There we go. There we go. Now bring those words closer together. Bring those words closer together. He doesn't care about the moderate voter, the suburban mom. He doesn't care about the average Republican. He only cares about MAGA. And who is MAGA? MAGA is the racist, the bigot, the extremist. That's who MAGA is.
On simply turnout of MAGA. We all know that independents have a lot to do with, evaluating and solving elections, but maybe he's thinking that this is going to be a win for him because he's just going to invigorate them so much.
Real quick.
I just think that this is a massive gatekeeping failure of the Trump campaign. I mean, covering the Trump administration, in every single meeting in the Oval Office, aides were jockeying to be the last person to leave the room to try to moderate whatever the president had heard during that meeting and try to have that final fingerprint on what he ended up saying or doing.
I am curious then, Pete, how things like Laura Loomer play, maybe, with these swing voters. Laura Loomer is a conservative activist, someone who has leaned into conspiracy theories that 9/11 was an inside job, among others, traveling with Donald Trump to New York for 9/11, traveling with him around the debates and whatnot. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, what Laura Loomer has said recently online is so extreme that Marjorie Taylor Greene is speaking out. Let me read you sort of this tweet thread. Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, "This is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are.
Yeah,
Republicans or
and the
MAGA.
stuff that
This does not represent
to
President Trump.
Marjorie
This type
Taylor
of behavior
Greene
should not be tolerated
wild.
ever. Laura Loomer should take this down."
fucking
What is she talking
wild.
about? Well, Laura Loomer put out a tweet. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's racist, fully on racist. But she says, if Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry, among other things, Pete. So if Marjorie Taylor Greene is speaking out against you, what does that tell you? Who about the person you're taking on your plane in case of Donald Trump and Laura Loomer?
Yeah, for real.
Well, you were kind in your description of Laura Loomer. She's a lunatic. And I don't think anyone should pay attention to anything she says. And it's troubling. It is troubling that the Republican nominee and a former president of the United States and potentially the next president holds her in such high regard. And the reason is because he feeds or she feeds his worst impulses. That's what he wants. He feeds off of that
Former
type
White
of
House
rhetoric
spokesman,
and those types
President
of
Bush.
conspiracy theories. And she is
The
going to
spokesperson
just
for
keep
President
giving him the red
Bush.
meat that he wants, and she'll remain in that inner circle, which is it's a problem. It's a troubling development. But I would just encourage folks to not pay attention to her because 99.9% of what comes out of her mouth is completely insane.
She's getting a seat on Trump's plane, Anna.
Right. His wife isn't on the plane. His
Exactly.
daughter isn't on the plane.
Exactly.
But this kook is on the plane.
Exactly.
And I think it should be incredibly concerning that potentially the next president of the United States is surrounded by racist conspiracy theorists. Listen, when Marjorie Taylor Greene is all of a sudden the voice of reason, we've got to, like, you know, call it a wake-up
What the fuck have
moment.
we done?
And I do think we need to pay attention to it, because I'd like to know what role she's going to have in a future Trump administration. I'd like to know what kind of access she would have
Trump
to the
drove
future
Navarro away from the
possibly
Republican
president
Party.
of the United States. And by the way, I would tell Laura Loomer, I've been in Kamala Harris's house, and you know what it smells like? It smells like power. It smells like patriotism. It smells like equality. It smells like a woman who's broken glass ceilings.
Anna Navarro, Pete Seat, appreciate you being with us this morning. Thank you very much.
Oh, and Anna Navarro could whoop Laura Loomer. We just got to point that out, too. She could totally whoop her.
We've discussed how Vice President Harris was able to bait the former president.
Oh, I'm crazy about coffee. Can't get enough. It's got me sipping slow, nothing fast. Makes the morning never last. Special shots, double down. Coffee rush lifts me off the ground. From the morning till the night, coffee keeps me feeling right. Feasting the beast from the blood the words were said. I am a scene, tread the sacred passage aloud. Trapped in a dream of the Necronomicon. 7 lords of an evil and fatal force levitate through the secret and ancient doors. Unbegun, emanating bizarre, swept away to the castle of Cantar. Cantar. Seeking the tomb, trying to possess immortal sleep, visions of death, drink of the blood, water of life, splendorous sun, show me the sign you are dead. You are dead. Life is in fear, unknown to man, demons appear, death they command, dead by dawn, 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 dead by dawn. Death will make me. We are, we are, we are, we are. We are what was and shall rule again. Death by dawn, shouting death, the ancient hymn. This is not real, I am not the chosen one. Trapped in a spell of Necronomicon. Caught in pain in the palace of death. Resuscitate through the passages I dreamt. Dead, dead by dead, dead by dawn.
Yeah, I'm standing up now. Alexa, lights off. Stupid square.
President during the debate. Another example, turning a question about fracking into a reminder of a New York Times report that much of the former president's fortune was inherited from his father. At least $413 million, according to the Times. Here's his response.
Well, first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars. Many, many billions.
That's a lie.
And when people see it, they are even surprised.
Perspective now from his niece, Mary Trump, author of the just-released book, Who Could Ever Love You? A Family Memoir.
First of all, I have to ask you about the debate. What did you think? For me, it was the first time I've seen somebody figure out a way to completely rattle the former president, and in the most simplistic of ways, criticizing, suggesting people were bored by his rallies and leaving. And from then on, he was just yelling. That needled him so much, he was knocked off the rest of the night.
It was incredibly validating, that debate, because some of us have known for a while that is the way to go. But who's been in a position to press him in that kind of venue? Nobody.
There's one, figuring that out, and two, having the ability to do it, even if you know that's how to do it.
Well, that was the thing that she did so brilliantly. Vice President Harris both gave substantive answers to questions to help the American people get to know her better and what she's going to do for our country, while going straight at Donald's vulnerabilities. The narcissistic injury she inflicted on him in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the debate did exactly what it needed to do, which, as you just said, was make him unravel. He couldn't recover.
Stabbed him in his
honestly,
psyche.
He's not going to.
You write in your new book, the trouble with Donald had started long before he entered school. At home, he tormented his little brother, Robert, a year and a half younger, and seemed to have nothing but disdain for everybody else, including and perhaps especially his mother. The kids in the neighborhood alternately despised and feared him. He had a reputation for being a thin-skinned bully who beat up on younger kids, but ran home in a fit of rage as soon as somebody stood up to him.
Yep.
I mean, it's fascinating to hear that description of a little boy and seeing the man.
That is one of the most damning and dangerous things about Donald Trump, and that is the thing that one of the things that makes him most unfit. He's never evolved from that. That's still who he is.
You see that in him now?
Absolutely.
Your book is very moving. It's deeply personal. You write about, your childhood growing up in the Trump family. Your father suffered from alcoholism. He died when he was just 42 years old. And you write about this comparison between how your father was treated by his father, by your grandfather, and how the former president was kind of molded into the person he is today.
Yeah. Interestingly, because my dad was 8 years older than Donald, he was the heir, he was the namesake, he was the oldest son. All of the attention was on my dad for a long time.
The expectation was on him because he was the oldest.
Exactly. Very much in the mold of that time. as the oldest son and namesake, he was expected to take over the family business / empire. And for reasons that aren't necessarily explicit, my grandfather found my father wanting, even though my dad had every intention of fulfilling that role. His problem was that he wasn't as tough as my grandfather wanted him to be, and he also had interests outside of the family business. He was an expert boatsman and fisherman and pilot, and my grandfather had nothing but contempt for those things. So by the time my dad was in his early 20s, my grandfather had already shifted his attention to Donald.
When you see Donald Trump on the stage last night, compared to what he was in 2016 or even 2020, do you see a big difference?
I do, especially from 20 years ago, but even
he's
from
more
8 years ago. He has much less impulse control to the extent he ever had any. He is incapable of bringing a thought to conclusion. He goes off on tangents. And I think part of it is because he hasn't been pressed. He hasn't been challenged.
Exactly.
And he's gotten away with so much. This is a man who spent his entire life pushing the envelope to see what he can get away with.
And nobody's ever checked him.
As soon as he realizes nobody's going to stop him, he pushes the envelope some more.
There's so much in the book. Mary Trump, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anderson. It was wonderful to be here.
That's exactly what he's been doing. He's surrounded by enablers. The worst of his enablers are the people out there selling his merchandise. I mean, seriously. Those are the worst of the worst. Because you're promoting, you're trying to, oh my God. It's just. Those are the kind of people who would sell their own family. He'll change his tune.
CNN's Priscilla Alvarez has more. She's joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina right now. That's where Harris spoke just a little while ago. What did the vice president have to say, Priscilla?
Well, the vice president renewed her call for another debate. Remember, just moments after the presidential debate concluded on Tuesday, the campaign came out and put another one on the table and said they were ready to go. And that's exactly what the vice president said on the stage only minutes when she started her remarks. Take a listen.
2 nights ago, Donald Trump and I had our first debate.
Ooh, wow.
And I believe we owe it to the voters to have another debate. Because this election and what is at stake could not be more important.
Now, the vice president has reason to perhaps want another debate. They felt strongly about the way that it went on Tuesday. They also raked in a lot of cash, $47 million in the 24 hours after the debate. And the campaign isn't taking former President Donald Trump for his word yet on whether or not one happens. But she has chosen to come here to North Carolina. 2 stops. She was in Charlotte here earlier. Now she is in Greensboro. North Carolina is, of course, a state that the campaign wants to keep in play. President Joe Biden lost it in 2020. It's been years since a Democrat has won in the state. But they think that because of the unpopular gubernatorial GOP candidate and because reproductive rights is such an important issue among voters here, that they can make headway. Tomorrow she heads to Pennsylvania, another battleground state, an important one.
Second time?
I'm not surprised, but I would predict that.
Political experts right now. Listen, Farrah Griffin, are you surprised Trump is now refusing to face off against Kamala Harris for a second time?
I'm not surprised, but I would predict that he may change his tune on this. Listen, If Kamala Harris sees a bump in the polls from her performance in the debate, where I think most folks think that she won, I could see a world where in a couple weeks Donald Trump actually says, I challenge her to a debate. He'll likely say that he wants it to be on a favorable network. He'll likely ask for it to be certain moderators. But I could see him thinking if things get a little bit tighter in the final 8-week stretch, he might need a big moment to remain competitive against her. So I wouldn't rule out that there will be another one. And I think it's incredibly smart politics that the vice president got ahead and was the one to first call for the second debate. It puts Trump on the defensive, a place he doesn't.
Man, his dumbass supporters are on Twitter yelling all this, me, it was unfair. Everything was in her favor, and as having been pointed out, no, she made a bunch of requests. These debate stipulations were set between Trump and Biden. This is shit Trump wanted. Kamala asked for some changes, and Trump said no changes. So Trump got what he wanted and still lost. And his supporters are like, oh, it was unfair. Everything was favored towards her. And it had been pointed out, no, this is what he wanted. Well, no, this is what he wanted. It's what him and Biden wanted. So I've been asking them, okay, so make a list of just exactly how much we have to do for him, how many things we have to put in his favor for him to win the debate. And that's when they shut down and scurry away. That's where the whining hits a peak. They're eating the dogs.
Like to be. So I actually think there's a world in which he tries to flip the narrative and agree to another debate.
Interesting. Brian Lanza, I understand you're now a senior advisor with the Trump campaign. Is Trump scared to debate Kamala Harris again?
First of all, thank you for having Wolf. No, it's not a function of being scared. It's a function of what are our priorities towards the end of the election. Our goal is to talk to as many voters as possible, and our goal is to paint Kamala Harris as a liberal. And I think we have better opportunities doing it through one-on-one interviews, through our rallies, through going into these states and having this impact than going on a debate that's going to sort of stack the deck against President Trump, not do the proper fact checks against Harris, and sort of delve into that environment.
What the fuck did he... That's the other thing. MAGA are such fragile little, whiny little pussy-ass bitches. They are the weakest of the weak. They're as fragile as tissue paper. MAGA are such babies. They make babies look mature and tough and strong. Everything. I'm telling you right now, Trump, that motherfucker could go... That motherfucker could go on fucking Newsmax, One American News, and have them Jesus Christ. Where is this fucking...
So 5 corporations control.
I'm trying to... There we go. Let's see if I can get to this. Where is the... Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have. Dude in Nevada explained to him how tariffs really work. If someone was taxing golf memberships, you wouldn't pay the tax. You'd pass the costs on to people, your customers. Of course, he cracked a joke. Oh, no, just the bad ones. But then he said, look, I mean, Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have. I mean, Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have. This was just a guy interviewing him and letting him say whatever the fuck he wanted. He just put the microphone to his face. Say whatever you want. That's what he fucking said. So how in the fuck does that translate into, stacked against him? This guy is a whiny ass pussy. A pussy of pussies. Pussies look at this guy and say, man up, pussy. Quit your fucking crying, pussy. And even look at him. He even just looks like a whiny, pouty ass crybaby. He looks like the guy who would call kids names and then go running into the house to hide. Let's listen to this whiny shit again.
As a liberal. And I think we have better opportunities doing it through one-on-one interviews, through our rallies, through going into these states and having this impact than going on the debate that's going to sort of stack the deck against President Trump, not do the proper fact checks against Harris, and sort of delve into that environment.
Into a debate. It'll be stacked against him. They won't do a proper fact check. That's just it. What they're basing it on is feelings. They're basing it entirely on fucking feelings. Entirely on fucking feelings. Because here's what it fucking is. They didn't fact check her as much as they fact checked Trump. Okay, if I tell 12 lies and you tell one lie, they're going to have to fact check me 12 times and you once, right? Or would it make you feel better if they fact check you 12 times? Yeah, now all of a sudden, MAGA looks stupid. So what is the answer? What is MAGA's answer to that? They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets.
Listen, our goal at this debate was to continue to paint Kamala Harris as a radical liberal, and
You're
that's
a
what we
wimp.
did. She didn't respond to any of the,
You're a
accusations we made,
wimp,
and they're going to stick.
delusional,
Whether she had a strong
pouty
performance or
wimp,
not, we feel we hit our goal
wimp,
of continuing
wimp,
to paint this
wimp,
picture that she's radically to the
wimpy
left, outside the American mainstream,
whiny
which has been
little
reflected in
wimp,
the CNN polling, which has been
wimpy
reflected in the New York
wimp.
Times poll. We're very comfortable going into the final 7 weeks.
Megan Hayes, the Harris campaign raised.
You're so comfortable, you're afraid of a debate. Wimp, 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 cry baby, wimp.
What, $47 million in the 24 hours after the debate on Tuesday night. What does that tell you about the momentum she has right now?
Yeah, I mean, they had over 600,000 people who donated about $47 million. So it shows that there is a lot of momentum still in her favor. These debate nights are incredibly lucrative for fundraising. So on top of wanting to have, more substantive conversations for the American people, it's
And
also
that's
a
what
huge
this
night for people to
potato
bring in more money
Hannity clown
for their
is
campaign
afraid
spend.
of.
So I do think, they are
Look
in
at
a really
him.
good
He's
place.
broken.
They have the
He's a
wind at their back
broken
on this.
man.
They have a lot of money for their
She's
organizing, for
happy.
door knocking, and boots on the
Good
ground,
vibes.
and to be on air and on
He's
radio
full
there.
of
So,
Sith and
I
shit.
think that this is an incredible moment for her to raise so
He's
much money in
Darth
the first 24
Shittius.
hours.
Interesting. Alyssa, we now have the first
Darth
results from a new
Snivelus.
substantive poll conducted after Tuesday night's debate. It finds little change in
Darth
the state of the
Snivelus.
presidential race. Harris at 47%.
This bizarre, cryptic video to Twitter where she's standing in the shadows, and the timing of it is kind of weird. Now, this may be the most offensive one she's posted yet, because in it, she tries to paint her and Trump as the victims after they face the repercussions of crimes that Trump knowingly committed. But Melania Trump's been going through a rough few weeks. I'm sure you guys have heard about the rumors Donald Trump has been getting pretty close with somebody else. Watch this clip of him in Nevada.
Latin music superstar Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot. Where's Nicky? Where's Nicky? Thank you, Nicky.
Trump calls Nicky Jam hot, but the only thing is, this is Nicky Jam. Donald Trump said she's hot, she's a hot artist, but Nicky Jam is a dude. But this isn't the person that Melania... Nicky Jam...
She's hot. Where's Nicky? Superstar Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I have to jump on the ridicule train.
time now for odd one out. Where is Nikki? Where is Nikki? Thank you, Nikki.
Trump
Now, teams.
calls Nikki Jam hot, but the only thing is, this is Nikki Jam. Donald Trump said she's hot, she's a hot artist, but Nikki Jam is a dude. But this isn't the person that Melania should be. Leave a like on the video and let's jump right in. Trump posted this 2 hours ago. With the long-sought termination, 52 years, by everyone, including the vote of the people would say that Roe v. Wade should stop, and Vladimir Putin are on the same when that was directly caused by Trump playing cat and mouse with the FBI. We'll break it. She's been flying around with him relentlessly everywhere, whether it's Trump is cheating on Melania with Laura Loomer. We have to remain calm and consider if Trump is even the sort of guy who would cheat on his wives, all of his wives, on golf, in business, on charities, on his taxes, or on the country. Oh wait, maybe Donald Trump did cheat on Melania, which brings us to the video that she posted today. And I find this one especially offensive because in this video, Melania complains about the FBI searching her bedroom for classified documents when that was directly caused by Trump playing cat and mouse with the FBI. We'll break it all down after we play this video.
Imagine my privacy would be invaded by the government here in America. The FBI raided my home in Florida and searched.
Why? What were they looking for? What were they looking for, you dumb person, place, or thing?
Yeah, we did.
Except for... Own. Shut up. You just got schooled, okay? You got schooled. Winkler is 100% on the money. An adult is talking. A knowledgeable adult is talking. Club Random Podcast. My goat Bill Maher is at it again from 2 days ago.
First time I ever went, I would not go to Israel. I was convinced if I stepped terra firma on Israel, I stepped off the plane onto the tarmac, a war would break out.
Why?
I don't know why. It's a tick.
That's more than a tick.
Yeah.
That's psychotic.
Yeah, well, thank you.
What? I mean, why you stepping off the plane?
No, not me. Just
just bad timing?
Bad timing.
Well,
I wouldn't cause the war.
Oh, I see.
I would just be in the middle of
I thought they were like,
the funds. Hey,
it's on.
Henry's here.
Allahu Akbar, the funds.
Really?
This is the last straw.
Oh, my God.
The funds is in Israel. Now we have to get them into the sea.
Yeah.
Oh.
What about their prime minister? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Of course. You can talk about anything. That's what I love about this.
I really think that he knows if, God forbid, he steps down or the war is over, he's in jail.
I mean, that's possible, and we hear that a lot. I mean, it's interesting.
I believe it to my core.
Yeah, well, you don't know what's, I mean, that could be the case. You don't know what's in a person's heart. Whether that's true or not, you can still be supportive of the decisions he's making, which I am.
No.
Okay.
It's very naive, I think, that this could go any other way.
Right.
And any other country in the world would not be expected to act any differently. If you get attacked, you get to fight back. And the war doesn't end when you start fighting back, which they always want with Israel. You know,
Bill Maher presenting himself as a guy who's like anti all religion, only to actively commit himself to a theocratic ethno state is the funniest thing. Okay, this guy is supposed to be like,
when the country When the country where the neighbors of your enemy live no longer exists, you're not defending yourself anymore. You became what they were trying to be. So, at this point in our history, Israel is, I guess, what Hamas was trying to be.
Atheist. I hate all religion. I hate all religion, okay? I'm Bill Maher. Religion is stupid, and if you believe it, you're stupid. Except I love the theocratic ethno-state that is an apartheid on a good day and doing genocide on a bad day, because they're doing it to other religious people that I hate a lot more. I'm Bill Maher. It's so fun.
Not all of Israel, though, because there's a lot of Israeli people who are smart who are protesting Netanyahu, and that's awesome. They're awesome.
Somebody, you know what? A lot of what you're saying is true. However, I think that there are parents, there are families that are hurting because the hostages are not.
Yes, and it's the job of a statesman and a leader and a prime minister to think long term and not just short term. Like, if they don't...
Yeah, that's what Benjamin Netanyahu's doing. He's thinking long-term final solution, not short-term final solution. Thanks, Bill Maher. He definitely calls himself culturally Christian. Yeah, he is so... His writing of Israel is crazy, okay? It is crazy.
Eliminate Hamas.
They're not going to eliminate Hamas. Hamas is an idea, not a group of people.
That's a bullshit thing.
It's not.
What do you mean? That's literally... He's right. Listen to the Fonz.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Well, let me tell you something. They've said that for years. I just read, I think, Sam Harris on this, and he said it right.
I know Sam.
Okay, great.
I like
love
Sam.
Great. I'm glad we both do.
Yeah.
And he said this thing we've heard a lot of times. You can't kill an idea. He said, well, we did after World War II.
Until now.
We did kill a lot of...
No, we
What's
didn't.
really funny about Bill Maher, as far as I understand...
No, we didn't. Are there still Nazis today? We killed the Nazi regime, but we did not kill the idea of Nazism. Nazism still exists. It literally still exists. There are still actual Nazis marching around with swastikas. So, I mean, here's the thing. Just because Sam Harris says one thing that's smart, that doesn't mean everything Sam Harris says is smart. So.
And is that and I didn't know this until later, okay? I never knew this about him, but I guess neither did he, ironically enough. Bill Maher's not Jewish. I never thought he was Jewish. I thought he was a Christian. I thought he was an Irish guy, okay? And then I found out that he was Jewish, but also that he didn't know he was Jewish either, for the record. He was raised Catholic until the age of 12 when he found out he was Jewish. He's raised Catholic. So I always was like, this motherfucker, this was my proof. Christian Zionists are so goddamn annoying. They just hype up Israel way more than American Jews do. They always outflank. They always outflank American Jews on the issue. It's like a white guy telling a black person about racism. You know what I mean? And yes, you can tell he was raised Catholic. Yes, he has a lot of, I think, former Catholic attitudes.
He does.
If that makes sense. He
that
has
sense of superiority.
Alcoholism to be one.
I am right because I said it louder.
Cookie Run Tower of Adventures is officially available on both mobile and PC with...
Gonna block your bullshit. Gonna block your bullshit.
Hey, I thank you for taking my call, first of all. I have to tell you, you want to be an intelligent man, but the lady that was walking through the supermarket and the other person that made a racist comment to her, why did you immediately go to it being a Trump supporter when you have no idea?
Sure.
I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain before he does, because I was born in North Carolina, raised in Kentucky. That gives me a fuck ton of authority on this subject. And it's as simple as this. Ducks. I have a lake out back of my house. Lots of ducks. Lots of ducks in the lake, lots of ducks in the neighborhood. When I hear quack, 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 oh, must be a duck. When I hop in my car and I drive just a little ways out, I'm close to the county line, and I start heading out to the county, and I hear murr. I think, oh, cow. It's a cow. When I'm out there and I hear yip, 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 yip. Oh, coy dogs. I mean, and that's the thing, because over and over and over, time and time again, you see a guy either wearing actual Trump merch, a woman wearing actual Trump merch, or a man or a woman wearing the same things, looking the same way, saying all the same things you hear repeatedly from Trump supporters at the Trump rallies. I mean, it's just over and over, you know? And so a racist person, I haven't even seen the video. So a racist person says something that you just heard a bunch of Trump supporters say, Trump himself say, use that line, something that you see Trump supporters constantly typing and commenting. Well, then this person engages in that same exact behavior, says that same exact thing. Oh. Trump supporter. And more often than not, it turns out to be true. So instead of whining about this pattern being noticed, instead of whining about this stuff being called out and calling into this show and whining at them, maybe do something smart and go after the dummy in the video and tell them, hey, stop making us look bad if you think they're making you look bad. If you really disagree with the things that the racist person said, if you truly do disagree with the things the racist person said, then why are you angry at the person identifying the behavior rather than angry at the person who you feel is misrepresenting you? And that's what I go at every Trump supporter with.
Who that was?
Sure, I'll answer your question. Okay. So, I don't know who this woman is. I don't know where she's from. Here's what I do know. She made a racist statement. Here's why I say what I said. Here's why I'm still answering. I'm still answering your question, and then I will happily give you a chance to respond. Is that fair? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, much of, I would say, the overwhelming majority, I didn't say all, but the overwhelming majority of people that are attacking immigrants, brown people, gay people are not Democrats in 2024. Example, Many Republicans are anti-gay marriage. Many Republicans denounce minorities. It's why there are so few minorities within the Republican Party. Last I checked, white supremacists today, I'm not talking about 80 years ago, are Proud Boy members, Klan members, are all supporters of Donald Trump. Now, if you can find me a bunch of Klan people or
Please
Proud
do.
Boy members that are huge Kamala Harris supporters,
Yes, please.
then I'm all ears.
Find them.
Please let me
Find
know.
them. Show
We're
me.
talking about right now.
Show
Now,
me.
in
Where
no
are
way,
they?
shape, or form am I saying that there aren't
Prove me
Democrats
wrong.
out there that aren't racist,
See.
because there very well probably are some.
See, that's where I'm tougher, braver, and more courageous than even Steven Crowder. I don't say change my mind, because that's dumb. You can't change a person's mind. Only they can change their own mind. No. What I challenge every and all Trump supporters is prove me wrong. Show me the lie.
But is it possible that this woman who did this is not a Trump supporter? Sure, that's possible, but I'm going to go with an educated guess based on the demographic that it's probably somebody who agrees with Donald Trump.
Do you have any numbers of any polls besides your opinion that actually supports what you just said?
Sure. So here's the way I will answer that. There are no polls out there that ask you if you're a racist or not. And by the way, nobody would admit that they are racist, but I will turn it back on you. Of all the Klan members, by the way, the leader of the Klan is David Duke. He's a huge Donald Trump supporter. And the Proud Boy members and the Oath Keepers, which are 3 hate groups, by the way. Of those 3 hate groups, you tell me, give me an educated guess of what you think. The Proud Boys, the Klan members, and the Oath Keepers, are those Democrats or Republicans? No. Please answer the question, sir, because I answered yours. Please answer.
My honest answer is,
yep.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, you're right. Okay, so I'm going to ask you again.
Chicken shit, beta weakness. Oh my God. That answer is the answer of someone who cucks for cucks. Okay. That answer is the answer that someone who gets beaten up by weak people. That is, you know the old saying, keep your checkers off my chessboard? That's the kind of guy who brings his ball and jacks to a chess tournament because checkers is too complex for him. Oh my God, I honestly don't know. You weak bitch. Oh, I don't know. They show up at the Trump rallies and they hold Trump flags and wear Trump shirts and post about how much they love Trump and yell about how much they love Trump, and they hold MAGA rallies. But I have no idea who they're voting for. Dishonest and weak. Please, MAGA, stop being dishonest and weak.
Again, and I'm going to give you a little bit of context.
And then I'd like to weigh in as a Democrat.
I'm going to give you a little bit of context because I'm going to repeat myself. David Duke is a Donald Trump supporter. He is the leader of the Klan. When Donald Trump was on a debate stage several years ago and was asked about the Proud Boys, who, by the way, are all in support of Donald Trump didn't denounce them. He told them to stand back and stand by. Of the hate groups that were a part of January 6th, and there were all sorts of different white supremacist, right-wing fringe hate groups that had an opportunity to defend themselves in a courtroom, not one of them said they were voting for Kamala Harris. They were Trump supporters. So now, based on that information, sir, which is not opinion, those are facts, and if you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself. So I will now ask you again, based on that information, I'm asking you again, it's not on 2 people, it's on hundreds of people on January 6th, it's on the leader of the Klan, and it's on basically every single person that is a member of the Proud Boys who is not supporting Kamala Harris. So based on that information, sir, can you give me a little intellectual honesty and answer the question one more time?
The answer is there is no data to support your opinion.
No data. Hey, I didn't give you data. I gave you facts. I gave you facts.
No. Let's go to BLM.
Sure.
How many of BLM are voting for Trump?
Sure. So when you say
They're not. What? What does he think he said? Okay, the caller has been up for 4 or 5 days on meth.
Let's do Haitians eating pets from the reincarnated Adolf Hitler.
You sorry saying
There was Haitians in a white van driving around the
like why would you start with that guy as like
and then AI art of a black dude with a bunch of cats.
That's something I've noticed about really bad YouTube channels lately. No one has taken to AI like YouTube channels.
Dude, I don't know what it is. Like, I think there's something in the minds of conservatives that like AI art really appeals to, because I never see AI art like conservative online.
the neighborhoods, collecting cats, skinning them, and eating them.
In my opinion, they're worthless. Bunch of worthless fucking saints.
They're getting thousands of dollars in government assistance, even the cash assistance cards. They're calling them the magic money cards because they never run out.
Man, they're nothing but a headache. All they're doing is raising our rent and our taxes and
You found some of the best individuals in Ohio. I don't know.
The rent goes up in any place where, oh God. Okay. You go into a neighborhood, brand new, just built, brand new houses, all vacant. They're all going to have the same fucking rent because they're all going to be owned by the same company. Come back 6 months to a year later. Well, now the rent on the houses is going to be different if they don't have like a housing authority or whatever. The rent on the houses is going to be different based on several factors. One is going to be availability. So the rent's probably going to be higher on the ones that are still vacant because now they're in higher demand. Some of them, the rent's going to be different because they're going to have been purchased by other people who want to rent them out. So there's a good chance that those will be a little higher. But regardless, as time goes, the rent on these final houses, it's going to go up as the availability goes down. That doesn't mean that the community's being hurt, you absolute dingus of a potato. My God, these people are talking potatoes. That's actually good. Like economy-wise, because the houses are occupied, which means rent's being paid, bills are being paid, money's going into the economy. If the money is going out of the economy, then go look at the real estate company. Is the property owned by an out-of-state real estate company? Well, that's the Republicans' fault for letting out-of-state real estate companies purchase up the property. And I say that because Ohio has tended to be a Republican state. That's where J.D. Vance is from. J.D. Vance is an Ohio politician. So if there's dumb shit going on in Ohio, he's contributed to it. But yeah, that's how housing works. The less housing there is, the higher it'll be. Although it seems to me that if you're having, if you want to fill up all the places, then to make it competitive, the prices should be lower. But real estate is filled with greedy, soulless scum. There's not good people in real estate.
Like, I don't want to do the classic, like, this is just Ohio memes, but like.
This is Springfield, Ohio. What was once a small town in Ohio, home to roughly 60,000 working class Americans, until 20,000 plus Haitian immigrants flooded into town with rumors of them eating the neighbors' cats and local geese.
What did you do? Why'd you kill the cat? Did you eat that cat?
This is not even like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a random black lady in Canton, Ohio. We are literally doing European style racism now. Like we didn't pick up on any of the things on accident. We didn't pick up on the healthcare, not even a crumb of like a welfare.
MAGA is racist. MAGA is racist. MAGA is racist. MAGA is racist. MAGA is racist and dumb and dumb. MAGA is racist and dumb.
State or anything like that, just Euro-fascist, anti-immigrant racism.
No bullet train even between LA and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But we get the soccer hooligan racism party.
Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ.
We don't even have a parliamentary system. This sucks.
Oh my God.
Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it?
They're eating the...
Like, that's crazy. Like, there are just like random black people that you just put together to be like, these are all Haitian migrants that are doing all of these things. Like, this is demanding a pogrom. They want to do the same shit like the anti-Muslim pogroms that took place in the UK. They want that in America. Luckily, our fascists are too fat and too self-involved and too swept away by football season starting to do anything like that. We don't have the organizational capabilities of the EDL even. Thank God.
All their fantasies of pogroms are like the Hells Angels doing it.
Yeah.
Dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
And causing car accidents left and right, and driving locals out of their homes by paying above-market rental prices with welfare subsidized by the American taxpayer. Are these Haitians eating cats? How did they travel 2,000 plus miles from Haiti all the way to Ohio? And
Why does YouTube allow this? 18 hours, 1.5 million views. Like, YouTube is just straight up, like, how is this? I mean, this is like Stefan Molyneux. You remember? Like, in the Gamergate era when like you had out and about like prominent white nationalists with like millions of views being like, yeah, actually like the average IQ of the black person is no.
That attack on my book was purely political. Wade told Stefan Molyneux, one of the most popular promoters of the outright new scientific racism. They were speaking a month after Trump's election on Molyneux's YouTube show. Stefan has been viewed tens of millions of times. Wade continued, had no scientific base, whatever, and it showed the more ridiculous side of this herd belief. Another of Molyneux's recent guests was the political scientist Charles Murray, co-authored The Bell Curve. Oh, God. The book argued that poor people, and particularly poorer black people, were inherently less intelligent than white or Asian people. When it was first published in '94, it became a New York Times bestseller, but over the next few years, it was picked to pieces by academic. Well, yeah, because to say it's inherent is idiotic, because here's the thing. These are the same people who say, well, I come from a humble background and pulled myself up by my bootstraps. These are people who often, like, I mean, yeah, a really large number of them, like, come from wealthy backgrounds, but you've got, like, a lot of these. Like, look at the politicians, right? Well, I come from a humble background and pulled myself up by my bootstraps, even if they're lying about it. They're bragging about, oh, I've got poor, humble roots, like J.D. Vance does. And he does that to try to court voters, to try to court the poor voter, but then turns around and supports these same people who argue that poor people, and particularly poor black people, are intelligence. So they're saying 1 minute they're trying to use, oh, I come from poor, humble background to promote themselves. In the next minute, poor people are inherently dumb and lazy. They're welfare queens, blah, 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 blah. And it all comes from the right. Every bit of it is on the right. And this is the shit you hear coming from MAGA talking heads. People that Trump is surrounding himself with. This is the shit they're saying. Shit they've always said. I mean, they've said it for as long as I've been alive. They've talked like that. Oh, poor people. I come from a poor, humble background. Oh, poor people are dumb and lazy. We can't give them assistance. We can't help their health care. They're dumb and lazy. That's why they're poor. Oh, but I come from a poor, humble background. So poor, humble people vote for me, even though I just called you dumb and lazy whenever I shut off your Meemaw's food stamps. Oh my God, I had to sit down.
Nowhere near as high as like the average IQ of the white person, and that's why we should do the Holocaust.
I pulled up to Springfield myself to see if this was real or overblown fake news. A lot of this is alleged because I truly don't know what's going on, and neither does Twitter. Twitter is relying off of a few images and a few Reddit threads, and there are rumors that Haitians are taking neighbors' cats and eating them. Are you from Haiti by chance? Yeah. Does everyone get along here in Springfield?
Yes.
Good?
Good. Motherfuckers are worthless. Bunch of worthless sand. Yeah.
When did the Haitian neighbors come and move here?
He cut out the full interview that he posted on Twitter where he's like literally laughing alongside this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, he was like, oh, this is so funny. Like, you're a piece of shit.
I would say probably 5 months ago.
Okay. I spoke to a few of them in French.
They're everywhere. They're up there. Don't wave at me, you sorry sand. I tell them like it is. Man, I don't like them. I don't like them, and I want them to know I don't like them. Pack up and move back to Haitieville, where the fuck you're from.
Why did you come here to Springfield?
Je viens de Springfield pour me venir travailler, me chercher la vie meilleure. Moi, c'est haïtien.
Okay. Okay. I heard there were rumors of Haitians eating the neighbors' cats and a Canadian goose. Is that true or completely false?
No.
Okay. Okay.
This whole thing about like the goose, I mean, that was not even a Haitian in the first place. It reminds me, it makes me feel like Ralph Cifaretto talking to Tony Soprano. A horse? You eat beef and pork by the truckload.
Yeah.
People who eat the most disgusting, like factory farmed, abused animals on earth. Oh my God, an innocent goose? Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about?
Also, conservatives that are saying this is like, don't you guys go duck hunting? Like, what the like, I don't understand. Like, so if it was a white dude wearing like a tactical hunting vest, you'd be like, oh, this is real America. But the moment it's like some rando black dude, you're like, oh, then, you know, this is weird and fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like stupid to even like entertain this, right? Because just they're using like these instances of people who like are not even Haitians, like these isolated incidents to paint a broad picture. But like when it comes down to it, what is the difference between a goose, eating a goose, or a cow, or a chicken, or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peut-être mon qui doit avoir un problème d'éducation qui fait faire ça même pas quoi. Vraiment difficile.
Yeah, exactly. All these people are vegan.
We've lost a whole bunch of cats. There was a van van pulled over that had over 100 cats in it with the Haitians. They said they was eating them.
He looks this dude. He's intentionally looking for the dumbest, most awful, most likely to be a racist moron. And then interviewing that person and laughing along with them. He's such a piece of shit, whoever that guy is. It's fucking trash.
Well,
where does he find these meth heads, dude? I mean, Ohio, I guess. There's just...
Is he putting like copper wiring under a box and trapping them? I'll let you go when you say you saw a guy taking cats.
Actually?
Yeah.
Not fake news.
Not fake news.
So a van was collecting cats and eating them.
I watched it happen, yeah. Watched them get pulled over with the cats and admit to the police that they was eating them.
You're not joshing with me.
No, I'm almost 50 years old, buddy. I don't.
Yeah,
no.
right.
You don't mess around.
No.
Twitter is saying the Haitians are.
Yeah, that seems like a reliable.
Wait a minute. What? Well, then by his standards, I'm the more reliable source because I'm almost 50. Okay. So if your standard of who should be trusted and who is reliable is based on age, well, I'm over 50. So listen to me when I tell you that under 50 guy is a window licking dipshit and he needs to get off the meth.
Reliable orator.
Yeah. So you say he heard everything they said to the cops, presumably.
Yeah, he was in the van. He was in the
yeah.
van. He was also being kidnapped for being white.
Yeah, he was. They cook the cats and eat them and use whites like basil leaves. They don't actually eat them. They're just for flavoring.
Yeah, they make you dip your hand in there for a little bit.
Yeah,
just to swap out the taste a little bit. This take new form of citizen journalism where the guy tells you he saw Bigfoot and you're like, okay, you're not Joshua me, right? No, that's literally what's going on.
Yeah,
like think about the dumbest person you know. Think about some of the. That's literally what tells you he saw Bigfoot. A little bit. This take new form of citizen journalism where the guy tells you he saw Bigfoot and you're like, okay, you're not Joshua me, right? No, that's literally what's going on.
Yeah,
like think about the dumbest person you know. Think about some of the fun things that he says that you and your group of friends sometimes will be like, haha, that's really funny. Did you hear what Dave said? You know, that guy is talking to a YouTuber and 1.5 million people are like, that's right, it corresponds to what I believe.
I love his credential. It's like, are you lying to me? I'm 50 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There are no 50-year-olds who just tell outrageous lies for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's too
Start
mature.
eating cats and can't drive. Is that true?
Especially not one that paints
True
himself
or no?
orange.
No. Where are they getting the money?
The government. They said it's a fucking program for them to.
For like migrants, like asylum seekers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're like roaches, man.
Yeah, I get along with them as long as they don't go pulling their crazy machetes when they're out mowing their grass with it.
Have they brought out machetes?
Oh yeah, that's how they trim their yard. They
What?
Yeah, it surprised me they let them all in, but
I mean, first off, if you actually picture that, the more you try to imagine, but don't picture someone else. Picture yourself going out into your lawn to trim the grass with a machete, what it would look like and what you would have to do. You'd be crawling on your hands and knees with this. But even if a person was, okay, what does that have to do? I own a machete. It's a tool. It's a very useful tool, especially for like hacking up limbs, weeds. You want to do like a little thing, but you don't want to get the weed eater out for it. It's good for that. You know what else a machete is awesome for? When you get that growth, those really tough vines that come up and choke up your chain link fence and can damage your fence. Too thick for a weed eater, and they spiral up in there. You just get down there with a machete. Ka-tunk. Little knock. If you keep your machete nice and sharp like you should. Or you can use a hatchet. But I use a hatchet for like big branches, stumps, big wood. Precision jobs, I've got different various saws, hand saws and power saws, jigsaw. Blah, 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 blah. I've got all kinds of trimmers and clippers. But, I mean, honestly, when it comes to most things like that, it's just quicker and easier. Whip out your machete, ta-conk, you're done. Whip out your hatchet, ka-tonk, you're done. Just like in the old days. But I guess that manly, masculine man doesn't think of manly things like that. Actual, functional, logical, manly, masculine things do not come into his head. Those kinds of thoughts are foreign to him. Any other man would go, so what if, are you scared of the machetes? The machetes scare you just because someone's holding a machete? You're scared? You've watched too many fucking Friday the 13th movies, you fucking goof. You fucking weird fucking goof. I mean, what the fuck? I see someone with a machete and I think to myself, I need to sharpen my machete. I need to remember to get my machete out, oil the blade so it doesn't rust. Or I think of a job that I need to do with my machete. I don't get afraid and scared. That's dumb.
I think
I love his follow-up
Yeah.
questions. Actually?
Well,
wow.
there you have it. Why? Okay, if like
Riveting reporting.
If just some like guy who spends all day staring at one side of the sidewalk and then the sun goes down and he's like, time to look at the other side of the sidewalk. That's his job.
Yeah.
If that guy, you can go, okay, it's happening because the sidewalk guy said it's happening, and I said, is it really happening? And he said, yep. Then like when you ask like a Haitian guy, are you eating cats? And he goes, no. Well, don't those cancel each other out? There's the same like rigor of reporting on both of them.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't those two things just like cancel each other out completely?
The best, you know.
But the
best,
guy making the
counter
video
argument
isn't
to an
smart
anecdote is
enough
just
to
like
realize
another
that.
dumb guy who just says no, that's not happening. Yeah, I mean, this is like the broader anger that I have for the likes of New York Times and completely dropping the ball deliberately, as they are designed to do so when talking about issues that pertain to American foreign policy, is that like there's also more people making the valid argument that they're doing misinformation and that there's like less trust in these mainstream institutions, when like these guys are somehow even lowering the bar further than you know the New York Times does. And this is going to be all that we have in terms of like reliable reporting or trusted, verifiable reporting at the end of the day in a couple years. And that pisses me off.
Well, if David Moore.
Luckily we have David Muir.
The newsman from movies.
And 4 of them just moved in here. They ain't in there.
Do you think you'll sell the house to a Haitian family one day?
Hell no. I would.
Hey, Lucas, it's me. Who? I'm future you. Hey,
Wouldn't give him motherfucker to sweat off my balls if he's dying of thirst.
How much time is he giving these racists?
I'm for real, man. I am fucking sick of them. You know, I
And
don't
then how much time does he give
How
the
many
Haitian?
more
2
different ways
seconds.
can I tell you how racist I am?
put a Haitian in every fucking house. I'll be the only white person here.
Twitter is saying that Haitians are kidnapping the neighbor's cats and eating them. Is that true or false? I gotta ask the hard questions here.
You take her out, bro. You know, the thing that also doesn't make sense, obviously a lot of shit doesn't make sense, but the thing that also doesn't especially make sense is like, if the Haitians are eating all the groceries and getting $3,000 a month from the government, why would they steal your cats to eat? Like, what's going on there?
Exactly.
Even in like the logical conundrum that
Yeah, true. That is something to think about. That one didn't even occur to me. Okay, so if you're telling me you're mad because they're giving Haitians endless amounts of money, then wouldn't they be going to the grocery and getting steak and lobster? So you could scream about them buying up the steak and lobster? Or did it become too easy to go to the grocery and prove that there's nobody there using a food stamp card to load up on steaks and lobsters? That became too easy. They realized everybody's got a fucking cell phone now. So everybody started saying, well, if you're really seeing these people buying these steaks and lobsters, video it, take pictures. And so they had to stop doing that one. So I guess they're not going to accuse the Haitians of having steaks and lobsters. That one's too easy to debunk. So we're going to say dogs and cats. But then the local police say, stop, that's ridiculous. That's not happening. There's no reports of that. And if you're swearing that it's really happening, then call us and fucking report it, because we don't have any reports of it. And then all of a sudden, oh, the cops are lying. The people who were all like, back the blue, were suddenly like, cops lie. Same people who, you know, if anyone else says, hey, that cop lied, cops don't lie. You just hate cops. But then when the cops say, no, there's no truth to the story about the Haitians, cops lie. I mean, they flip their back the blue off and on when it conveniences them. And you would think, like, well, why don't the cops get pissed off about that lack of loyalty? Well, the cops themselves are kind of used to that whole flipping shit off and on when it suits you.
they've built for themselves, like, it still doesn't make sense. And it's just, I guess, like, they just have what, they specifically love cats. Is that what it is? Like, they're balling. They're balling on welfare.
I have seen the line against, like, guys who are more like into the movement, into the European style right-wing movement than Oliveira, say that it's like a Santeria.
Oh,
thing,
like voodoo type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ritualistic sacrifice. Oh my God. Okay.
No. Why is everyone coming here?
Haïtien vini ici pour travail, mais manger chat, non. Parce que non, pas manger chat, non, chat, non. Si nous besoin viande, manger viande, aller dans Walmart, non acheter, mais manger chat haïtien, pas manger chat.
Okay. Why did you leave Haiti?
Moi t'ai quitté Haïti parce que dans moment pays ti un petit gens gain problème politique, te gain des autres qui passé, so j'ai juste essayé quitter jusqu'à ce que ça arrangé pour me retourner dans le pays.
Are they driving the housing costs up around here?
Yeah. Like nobody.
Big time?
Yeah, like.
What are we talking?
Oh my
Okay,
God.
On a
She. It's like you get to where you can see it from a mile away.
Honestly, in my opinion, it'll be a surprise if I don't get kicked out so they can boost up the rate on this place.
How is that the fault of the random?
Here's the thing. Where is it? Is it Montana? I think it's Montana. During the pandemic, a bunch of wealthy conservatives all started moving to, it was either like Oklahoma or Montana or something like that. Started like flooding in. And these were wealthy white conservative people migrating there. You know what happened? The locals said, please fucking stop. They said, oh my God, housing rates are going up, utility rates are going up, price of this is going up, the price of that is going up, because that's capitalism. When you're in school, growing up, you're taught that the way supply and demand works is when things are being sold plentifully, then the prices go down and they're cheaper. But that's not true. When a company needs to increase sales of a product, they lower it temporarily, get people to buying it, and then once a whole bunch of people start buying that product and it becomes popular, they jack the price up. And the more people buy it, the more they keep raising the price. That's how it ends up working, and that's exactly what the housing market is predicated on. So, even if, best case scenario, all of your favorite TV Trump supporters move into your neighborhood, the housing prices in your neighborhood go up. Tucker Carlson moves in, the guys from Newsmax move in, Trump himself moves in, your housing rates go up. And it doesn't have to be 20,000 of them. It could be 1,000. The housing rates will go up.
Haitian dude, bro. You have a landlord who is going to evict you, but your fucking landlord is white and the Haitians are black. So you're like, you know whose fault this is? The black people, not the landlord. Like, that's the third time in this video we've heard a motherfucker be like, Haitians are coming in and they're driving up the property prices. And it's like, dude, what are you saying? Like, it's your landlord that's making rent more expensive.
Dude, one of them has such like a peasant mindset that he goes, well, the landlords can't even make money unless they charge the Haitians $3,000, which we can't pay. It's like, what? Who told you that? A landlord?
Yeah.
They'll probably fix it.
I see.
Get it where it's looking better.
That doesn't. Oh. Not that that poor dumb girl is going to say anything that makes any fucking sense, but I mean,
yeah.
They'll probably fix it.
Like, what? Who told you that? A $3,000, which we can't pay.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Who told you that? A landlord?
And yeah, because I wasn't thinking about that. Like, that one person was saying, like, yeah, they're coming in and they're paying their rent with welfare, and the landlords are jacking the rent up. And then, so I didn't hear anyone say the thing he said, but let's just say dude in the video did actually like make that statement that it's like, well, we have to raise the rent to $3,000 just to make money. How? Because regardless of where the rent money's coming from, okay? Regardless of where the rent's coming from, whether it's coming from because the thing is according to the local statistics, the town's unemployment rate is really low. Like, these Haitians are really giving back to the local industry. There's even a video of this one guy who runs a plant there. And he straight up said, unlike the Americans around here, these Haitians want to work. They show up. They don't complain. Blah, 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 what have you. They work hard. He said they're reliable. That's what he was talking about. He straight up said that his Haitian, like the local Haitian population, was more reliable than the local American population. But then you look at everybody that guy is going around interviewing. And in every instance, the person he interviews is someone saying, the person he interviews who is against Haitians, in every single instance so far, the anti-Haitian person has been a stereotypical racist. Just a stereo, I mean, seriously. Like, before they even speak, you're like, oh yeah, I know people like that, got people like that in my town. That person is going to say something racist. And then that one guy, I mean, just like made up a new slur for them. I don't know why he kept invoking sand. It's like he's so racist. He was wanting to insult Arabs and black people at the same time. He wanted to do the whole spectrum. So he took two slurs, one typically used for Arabs and one typically used for black people, and he slammed them together and made this whole new slur and aimed it at the Haitians. And it didn't make any sense. He could have dropped the first word off, and then that would have been like the typical one that you would expect. Stereotypical insult for black people. But no, he had to go. And it's like, and that's how racist this dude is, and just proves that, you know, a lot of times, the more racist these people are, the dumber they are. And that even goes for people like Stephen Miller. People say, oh, yeah, but he's successful. Yeah, he's successful because he has spent his life tailoring himself and his life to suit the needs of people as racist as him. He chose long ago. He was, well, for one thing, he was one of those people privileged enough to get into a good academic school, college, whatever. And so he was already doing well, but then he comes out of that and just increases his wealth by catering to people, because he knew, you know, hey, this is the easy crowd the easy audience, so he goes to these people. I'll be your minion. I'll be your faithful minion. But then you've got, you listen to him speak, and he's an idiot. Well, he's successful, so he's smart. Well, no, he's targeting other idiots. It's not that hard. I've said a million times before, if it wasn't for my conscience, I could have become successful long ago because I have the mind and the mouth. On the left, you're a small fish in a huge ocean. But, you know, on the right, the pond is much smaller because it's the right. But if you don't have a conscience, and you're willing to just behave awfully, and you're willing to have every decent person in the world hate you. Yeah, I could have done that. I could have said awful things. I could have said the exact opposite of everything I say. I could have said all the same things these motherfuckers say. And that's what this dude is doing. He's going to like the worst of the worst and is like amplifying them, giving them the microphone, talk for 20 minutes. But you notice he's avoiding white people who might possibly disagree with the racist ones.
Yeah.
Place. They'll probably fix it, get it where it's looking better, and boost the rate up on it. They pay $1,200 a month.
How much money does the government give you per month?
Pero el first step me doy como primera vez te pusieron como 500, segunda 300.
Okay. ¿Cuántos Haitians vive aquí en las 2 años?
No tengo un mensual, pero yo nuevo por ahí.
Okay. ¿De dónde eres?
En Haití.
Haití?
Sí.
¿Cuántos meses vive aquí?
Tengo 2 meses.
2?
Sí.
Did anyone tell you to come here to Springfield, Ohio?
Sí.
Did a friend tell you to come move here for a job? How did you learn about Springfield?
Yo tengo mi padres por ahí.
Okay.
This dude could have read one article, dude, like the PBS documentary that was done on Springfield, Ohio, about how the town needed labor. There was a surplus.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a shortage of labor in the town with all the new jobs that were readily available, and like a couple Haitian people moved in, and then word spread that there was jobs there. So a bunch of Haitian people were like, "Oh, thank God!"
Yeah,
and that's how you build a enclave usually in this situation.
Right, and the local city also was welcoming, like local business owners that have been interviewed were like, well, yeah, I was telling my workers, yeah, tell your friends, we've got a lot of positions to fill. Tell them to come here. But MAGA is avoiding those people. That's the thing. All of the people, like, blah, 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 the landlords, blah, 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 the businesses, blah, 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 jobs, da, 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 the groceries, da, 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 the traffic and crime. Okay? But then look at who MAGA talks to. Look at who, the videos, the clips, look at who they talk to. It's always the people like who this guy is talking to. Show me the videos of them talking to the cops, talking to the city leaders, talking to the landlords, talking to the business owners, the grocery owners, the Walmart managers, the Walmart clerks. Show me the videos of them talking to all of these people who they claim are also informed of this and part of this. Talk to them. Where's the videos of them talking to them? Oh, there are none from that side. Do you know where you will find them? Like Hassan just said. There's a PBS video. There's literally a PBS video. I mean, there is literally a PBS video. And they talk to the business owners, the cops, the city leaders. They show all these places where all this bad stuff is supposedly happening, and it's not. And just like what this guy is seeing here, there's something that the racists will be overlooking. You're not seeing any of this crime. Where's all the crime and chaos? These neighborhoods look great. The houses look great. There's so much peace. But the racists are overlooking that. He's debunking the myth himself. None of it. None of it. None of the stuff that he's trying to amplify is happening in his videos. As a matter of fact, you saw people, when they saw the camera and everything, they smiled and waved. You go talk to the people who aren't just loud and awful, like the guy making up new racist slurs. You go talk to those other people, and they in what they say is being supported by the behavior you see here. Friendliness. Oh, unless they come at me with their machete. Oh, I'm weak and I'm melting over machetes. Machetes make me afraid. Oh. But then, like, I don't know, where's the people with the machetes? If you drive down my street, you'll see somebody with a machete. Me. Hacking at weeds on my fence. Scary, deport me, right? Idiots.
And like, people are trying to be protected from the dumb racist hicks that want to kill them. So they're like, oh, there's safety and job security here.
Yeah, no, that is generally how like immigration patterns work.
I mean, and seriously, honestly, you've got a guy next door to you yelling what that dude was yelling. Who's unsafe? Who is unsafe in that dynamic? Put yourself in that position. Imagine that was the race that you're afraid of. And they move in next door and they're yelling stuff like that at you. You're going to want to feel unsafe, and you're either going to want to move away, or you're going to want more people to move in next door and befriend you, more people from your group. You're going to be like, y'all, I need more white people moving into this neighborhood because this guy is scaring me. He keeps yelling this racist stuff at me and making threats and behaving violently and aggressively. Oh, maybe MAGA is dumb and racist.
Work. And like, was that the same article where they're like, yeah, they're like great employees, they like show up on time,
Yeah,
they're not
I mean, this is
smoking oxys in the car.
They also apparently like attend church. They're very religious.
Haitians are incredibly religious. It's like one of the most like Christian populations in the hemisphere.
Yeah, Frank Luntz posted this from the PBS documentary, and Stephen Miller. The fact that our corporations want cheap, pliant foreign labor doesn't mean the rest of us don't get to have a country, Frank. This is a nation. Nations owe their loyalty and allegiance to their own citizens, to their own towns and communities. Dude, you are a Republican. What the are you saying? You are the reason why so many of these places are in a state of disrepair. Like, your administration has only continued along in that agenda. You just don't like black people. That's corporations want cheap, pliant foreign labor doesn't mean the rest of us don't get to have a country, Frank. This is a nation. Nations owe their loyalty and allegiance to their own citizens.
my community doesn't have the jobs. It's hard to find a job in my community. My community also has a problem with unemployment because my town is flooded with bullshit, like fast foods, car washes, churches, bullshit jobs, and people just aren't fucking hiring. So you couldn't fly them here. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Springfield had an overabundance of open jobs. And Steven is completely ignoring, and it's funny that I mentioned this wormy little piece of weak shit, little noodle arms, noodle legs, noodle neck, little wormy head. But this weak little motherfucker with his weak voice, I already like fucking, talked about what trash he is, but he's completely ignoring the previous statement.
Yeah, I mean, this
Smoking
is
oxys in the car.
they also apparently
You owe it
like attend
to our country, right? They don't have the drug problems. They come to work every day. They'll stay at their machines. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. Sharp difference from what we're used to. If they would have kept doing things the way they were doing, they would have had to have shut down the plants due to lack of employment, and Springfield would have kept dying. So, where does anything that Steven fucking said make any fucking sense? It doesn't. It makes no fucking sense.
church. They're very religious.
Just like Hassan said.
Religious. It's like one of the most like Christian populations in the hemisphere.
Yeah, Frank Luntz posted this from the PBS documentary and Stephen Miller. The fact that our corporations want cheap, pliant foreign labor doesn't mean the rest of us don't get to have a country, Frank.
Doesn't
This
make any
is
sense.
a nation. Nations owe their loyalty and allegiance to their own citizens, to their own time.
But here's the thing. If there was an overabundance of jobs in my town and we just didn't have the workforce to fill it, yeah, I would gladly say, yes, send them here. Send them here, please. Please, send them here. Keep this town alive. And then maybe we can elect some people who care about things enough to twist screws and put pressure on local businesses to lower the prices on their shit instead of being greedy filth pigs. Greedy filth pigs being overwhelmingly Republican MAGA.
Towns and communities. Dude, you are a Republican. What the are you saying? You are the reason why so many of these places are in a state of disrepair. Like, your administration has only continued along on that agenda. You just don't like black people. That's it. Yeah, and those
What's the community you're supposed to keep? What's the community you're supposed to keep catering to? The ones on drugs that aren't showing up and aren't achieving their numbers? What the fuck, you dumbass?
speak like 4 languages too. That's the other part where they're like, oh, these are some dumb, uneducated, lazy cat eater. They're speaking.
Yeah. Well, they're speaking at least 3, sometimes 4, because they speak Haitian, but they also speak French. And then once they come here, they learn English. So there's 3. I don't know how many times I have to block the ad for that fucking game. Oh my God. Please fucking fall off the earth.
4 goddamn languages. They're working hard. They just want to survive. And you're over here lazy and angry as
all of them are saying that, like, oh, they're making the amount goes up every time. They're making $2,000 a month from welfare, $3,000, $4,000. They're paying $4,000 for rent, all subsidized from the government. Which, what is there any public assistance program in America?
But they have jobs.
Ohio like that?
No, there
you
isn't.
Actually talk
it doesn't
to the
exist.
guy, and it's like, well, first it was 500, then it's 300.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. I mean, mean, it has to be a fucked up situation. You have to be like a single parent with like 5 kids to hit 1,000. Unless you start throwing in like welfare too, but in that instance, like, my God, I mean, it would end up being child support issue. I mean, oh my God, like to even hit 1,000, it's like, yeah, it has to be multiple kids. You're gonna have to be a single parent. And it's going to end up having to be like combined value of your SNAP, which is specifically for food only, combined with your, I forget what they call the other thing, but it used to be called welfare. I mean, that's essentially what it is, but it's like the cash money advance that you get. But that's going to be based off of child support, though. Honestly, like that's how they base it. They're going to base that. That's because the welfare that you get as a single parent is based off of what they feel the child support for that child should be for the non-custodial parent. So it's going to end up being like the combined of all of that. So yeah, that's going to be hard because the average is 200 to 300, and that's in the most extreme. Parent completely unemployed, blah, blah, blah. So 300, 600, say, combined between the food stamps and the welfare. Okay, so now you're going to have to add, but they're not going to do as much for the next kid because it's in the same home. So no, they're not just going to just give, oh, you're from Haiti, here's $3,000. No, it doesn't work that way in any reality, not in any dimension.
Which is how most food stamp programs in America work. They go
there wasn't even like direct cash infusion. It was probably like food stamps.
Yeah.
It was just talking about.
But no, that never.
That's another thing too. Unless you are disabled or retired, which even then you have to be like retired to the extent of being disabled. Like to get the food stamps, like if you are what they considered able-bodied, they expect you to eventually be employed. Like you're supposed to keep actively looking for a job and seeking some form of employment. They don't expect you to be on food stamps forever unless you're disabled. But even then, if you get a job, they'll cancel your food stamps. So there's that.
Gets addressed.
Yeah, very frustrating. And these guys that have no solutions, like that objectively are using this as an opportunity to make white people who have been over by neoliberalism focus on like Haitian immigrants, their neighbors, instead of like the actual people stealing their money.
How much is it to rent an apartment here in Springfield? How much do you pay for rent?
Pero todavía yo no pagué, pero yo vivo con mi padre, mensual cada mes 700.
Is anyone eating cats out here?
No.
Okay. Falso.
Falso.
Falso información. Okay. Do you know many other Haitians here?
Yes.
Yeah? Big community?
Yes.
Okay. And why are so many Haitians?
By the way, if you recall,
For now.
Republicans did this shit with Hazleton in Pennsylvania, a town that was in a state of disrepair, okay? Almost permanently bankrupt, no businesses left, industry left. And then Latin American migrants came in and they boosted the goddamn economy. They brought businesses there. They brought life back into the town.
And the racist people said, there's just too many Mexicans.
Enough, Tucker Carlson was cutting articles exactly like this, going and talking to people in this former ghost town, being like, yeah, there's more work here, but the culture of Hazleton has changed dramatically.
There's more brown people than white people, and it's making them anxious.
What are you saying? Some of these people would literally
because we're outnumbered
in their bum town with like 11 people before they allow the town to thrive, because because the people that are causing the town to thrive again are brown. Dude. That pisses me off so much. National Geographic wrote.
Exactly.
Where would he learn that shit at? Where's he going up and down the road talking our jargon? In the building? Everybody's in their own motor coach. There's no interaction. There's no socialization. You don't become one. You don't become one of the boys just because you're around them. That, from what I heard, he's making like $5 million for a limited, and those other are out there making house shows. F you.
Let's talk about these comments first. Okay. So this is one of those things where, you know, the conspiracy side of me is kind of saying, hey, are they starting something? And like, because Kevin Nash and Triple H are tight. Logan Paul's featured. He's not doing anything right now. So my antennas go up of, you know, is it a work? Meaning Logan Paul work means it's not real, just to remind him. But when Kevin's saying this, this is a tale as old as the many eras in pro wrestling. When Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and the Clique were changing the business and doing everything, what do you think the previous generation of the old timers or veterans were saying about them? Probably along the lines of the same thing, right? Where they're doing stuff for money, they're politicking, they're using their power. Shane Douglas, who used to have a show here, which I did not replace, just to remind everybody. But Shane still swears up and down, as far as I know, and last time I talked to him, that group of people had starved him out in a 6-month period. He made $1,400, and he was on their S list, as they would call it.
Yeah,
so
shit list.
They're politically, he was a pariah, and he was basically starved out. This is Shane's story. He has not switched this in decades since it happened. So that's where that comes in. Also, right now, guys like me, Russo, Nash, even to a point Dutch and other people, we're going to talk about AEW in the current generation. It's always going to be the looking back, the comparison is the thief of joy type of stuff. Now, Kevin was also famous in a lot of shoot interviews saying this saying from Captain Lou Albano: there's only 2 things in wrestling that are real: the money and the miles. Okay? Maybe Logan Paul isn't putting as many miles on the odometer as other people. But as workers, and this, okay, let's go back a second. Punk would rock, you know, part-timer. Cena would rock, part-timer.
Yeah.
Then Cena became a part-timer. Austin Theory, Cena, part-timer. Everybody has this trope of, you know, talking about like, you need to be full-time and go here and there.
Undertaker part-time.
Isn't the point of being in pro wrestling
For a very long time.
working as little
Shows
as
up one time a
possible and
year.
making the most amount of money? Whether within
Do you know who else was a part-timer? Bill Watts, for years in Mid-South. And he drew all the time because he was a part-timer.
Fritz von Erich. But, you know, yeah, I'm with you. Now, Kevin, where he's coming from is not completely wrong. The way it's verbalized, the way it's put, you know, the point is lost with all the swearing and stuff like that. I have a problem with that being from Philly. I try to be very good about that on the show, except when you told me about subtitles, then I had to swear at you. But he's right in the way that he's speaking up. And here's the thing I thought about as I was reading it once again. Is there someone else saying this, or many people in the locker room that Kevin is friendly with, and maybe includes Triple H, that didn't want to afford all these things to Logan Paul, and Kevin is being the avatar speaking up maybe for a lot of the boys that think that about Logan Paul? So that's just, I'm throwing it out there with that. We can do Logan Paul's reaction, and then we have a comparison chart of who the best worker out of these 2 is, in my opinion.
We talked, I don't know, 7 weeks ago or something like that about Kevin Nash and CM.
I don't know. I mean, I think Nash has a point. I think Stevie has a point.
say in Memphis, if Memphis sold out on Monday, you could count on a week later, Louisville, because it was a week late in the distribution of the tape. Louisville would sell out on a Tuesday, and then Evansville would sell out on a Wednesday. Nashville would sell out on Saturday night. So if you had a sellout of Memphis, you could look for at least a month of really good houses. And at one time, believe it or not, Memphis was paying well. If you were making $1,500 a week back in 1981, 82, that's good money. Because you could only make about $200, $300 on a regular job. So you got somewhere that you enjoy doing what you're doing and having a good time.
Memphis Shockwave. How does that sound to you?
Horrible.
Yeah, anyway, some people thought that, for some reason AEW would take the place of SmackDown when Fox got rid of SmackDown because, they're not desirable fans to advertise to. So, but
didn't Fox say they paid too much for it to begin with?
Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't recoup the losses. Maybe they couldn't get enough advertisers to buy slots to recoup their expenditure.
Well, you look at the advertisers they have now in WWE. It's not like a damn car dealer down the street. It's national ads, and actually their show is SmackDown. I think has a good show, a really good show. And even when the wrestling was bad, the content was bad. The advertisers, they were still national brands. So it's not like local people advertising on it. I've never seen a local show.
We talked last week about how a simple bracelet could be the catalyst for a many months-long feud, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, of course. Anyway, we apparently missed the part where the girl, because the bracelet was actually made by a fan, presented to CM Punk, and he carried on wearing it.
Yes, it was.
So that's made it into the storyline. And then CM Punk was fed his own bracelet by Drew McIntyre last week, as we talked about, and everybody watched, I'm sure. So we apparently missed the part where, I think her name's Victoria, the fan, said that she actually wanted to actually have some recognition for making the bracelet. She thought it'd be nice to have that kind of thing. And then, a few days ago, a replica of her bracelet ends up on WWE Shop.
Yep.
They were selling... Have you not heard this?
I read it, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. So shortly after, they're actually selling her design
and then they
bracelet.
took it down and
a lot of
changed
people
it.
were saying, hey, is this like a suable thing? Could it, is your design, I guess? Which I think to a point you might have a claim. Anyway, she posted the following: "Hi everyone, thanks again for all the nice words and support. I won't be asking for compensation from WWE since they have every right to make the bracelets. All I kind of was hoping for was maybe a mention in the description of the product, i.e. inspired by a fan. Throughout this whole thing, I never expected to be given anything from WWE. All I wanted was for people to put a name or face to where the bracelet came from." Right, so next on the agenda, Dutch, we're going to be talking about something very near and dear to my heart, something that has amused me greatly, Logan Paul versus Kevin Nash.
Now, teams, here's how this works. I'm going to show everybody 4 pictures.
See what this is like.
You'll have to guess which one is
It's
more
Roy
out of
Wood, so it's
place
gotta be good.
than Travis Kelce on Jeopardy. Here's your first group of 4. Tim Waltz, Jack Black, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and John Hamm. Who was the odd one out?
John Hamm was a teacher at some point in his life. Walls was
Rock?
a teacher.
Jack Black,
School of Rock, that's rule of 3.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Not a teacher.
Never
Taught the world about rap through Broadway.
Close, all of you. Jack Black is the odd one out because he only played a teacher.
Oh.
The rest of them actually were high school teachers at some point. And of course, we also know John Hamm
Wow.
taught the whole country
That's where I was
anatomy,
leaning.
At one time. Tim Waltz has definitely leaned into the aw shucks former geography teacher thing. But there's one pretty weird fact in Tim Waltz's biography. Back in the 90s, Tim Waltz did what so much that his wife had to take what from him?
I don't know.
I do know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the console was, but at one point he was playing so many video games that his wife had to take it away and say, "Tim, grow up."
Grow up.
Point.
Yeah. Are you
Wow!
stalking Tim Waltz?
I love it. Was it a Nintendo GS?
No, it was worse. It was a Sega Dreamcast.
Oh my God.
Who the hell plays a Sega Dreamcast?
They only had like 4
I had an
games.
opportunity to own one,
Get you a
and
better
I didn't
game
want it.
system, Tim. If people had found out you play a Sega Dreamcast, this could have cost Commodore the election, man. Specifically, Waltz was a big fan of the game Crazy Taxi. And this week, one Waltz fan made a version
Redemption.
of the game featuring the potential Veep.
In a vast universe of endless possibility, sometimes legendary.
Y'all are watching me block these ads.
Leaders do the work. Mind your own damn business.
That's brilliant.
Meanwhile, J.D. Vance will be appearing in the game Human Handshake Simulator.
Let's see, Marcy.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Why?
It was this one that hurt.
Here's your next group of 4. Benjamin Netanyahu, Gritty, M. Night Shyamalan, and Bruce Springsteen.
If we're going on vibes, Bruce Springsteen is the odd man out.
And Benjamin Netanyahu.
This one that hurt.
Here's your next group of 4. Benjamin Netanyahu,
BB.
Gritty,
BB. Gritty.
M. Night Shyamalan, and Bruce Springsteen.
Maybe they're all born in the same place, or they're all from the same place, live in the same place. But then I was gonna go. The reason I was doing BB is because I hate this piece of shit. That's his nickname, BB Gritty, and then I was gonna say okay, and then the boss. They're all known by their nicknames.
If we're going on vibes, Bruce Springsteen is the odd man out because he doesn't have the vibe of having committed a murder.
It's nicknames. It's nicknames.
So a complimentary odd man out.
Yeah.
It's either Philly or Pennsylvania, because you got Gritty from
Oh.
Philly. Netanyahu went to school in Pennsylvania as a kid.
And
so I'm guessing
all M. Night's movies are in Philly.
Are they?
Yes, they are. So it's Bruce Springsteen because he's a Jersey guy. Jersey boy.
Points.
Whoa.
Bruce Springsteen is the odd one out. Benjamin Netanyahu, Gritty, and M. Night Shyamalan are all from Philadelphia, while, of course, Bruce Springsteen is a fictional character from New Jersey created to sell more blue jeans. Now, speaking of Philadelphia, the Harris campaign went all in on Philly-specific advertising before this week's debate, including the ad that said, crowd size matters, and they showed a large and small version of what item?
I mean, cheesesteak. Gotta be a cheesesteak.
A soft pretzel.
Oh.
Kamala had this ad up in Philly.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
know what? I'm calling bullshit on this. Philly doesn't get to claim soft pretzels. That's New York, baby. That is New York.
Uh-oh.
Philly, you go to hell. If you think soft pretzel, no. Here's what's happening.
Yes, Gritty, he's right here. Gritty coming to whoop your ass. But continue what you were saying.
The Pennsylvania Amish, they get the hard pretzels. New York gets the soft pretzels. Philly, go fuck yourself.
Oh, shit.
Philly, you.
Kamala, in addition to the pretzel ad, she also had one up that said, quote, Philly is with Kamala Harris, and another one that said, when you want a quick coffee, Wawa. When people don't show up to your rally, Wawa.
Oh, I like that.
Genius. Genius marketing.
That's good.
That was the odd one out. Amber, your team gets 2,500 points, and Michael, unfortunately, you get negative 10,000 points. It's time now for Lie Curious.
Oh, that's great.
Here's how Like Curious works. Each team will be given 3
This is great.
biographical details about a public figure, but only one fact is true. Your team has to guess which fun fact is the truth and which are dirty, filthy lies.
Uh-oh.
First one up from Michael and Robin. You've got Elon Musk. And your 3 facts are, his cell phone ring is the X-Files theme song.
That's got to be true.
Believable.
He originally wanted to name the Cybertruck Splinter.
Yes, and
Also
was sued
believable.
by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
His sister directed an erotic film trilogy.
I want that to be true.
Yeah.
That feels true as well.
It
okay, one we
does.
know is true for sure. Has to be.
That's literally the game, Robin.
Yeah. No, I meant number 1.
Oh.
Only one
Do
of
we
these is
know?
true.
I don't care what the answer is. I want it to be his
It's
sister-directed
two.
Yes,
erotic film
sister-directed
trilogies.
erotic trilogies is the truth.
Points.
Yes!
What?
Elon Musk's sister co-founded a company called Passion Flicks that produces steamy romance films. She herself has directed 9 films in the Sexy Gabriel series.
Ooh.
Gabriel's Inferno, parts 1 through 3. Gabriel's Rapture, parts 1 through 3. And Gabriel's Redemption,
Oh my God.
parts 1
Same
through
angles
3.
of the same kiss.
Also, fun fact, Gabriel's Inferno was the original name for the Cybertruck.
I feel like I'm a little bit hot for Elon Musk's sister right
Yeah.
now. Like, I'm kind of into it. Whatever that was, I kind of want to see it.
It's giving 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
I think with the last name Musk, though, she could have had a funnier production company name.
Yeah.
Musk after dust.
Matt?
Just, well,
I have something racist to
I like
say.
that. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Please.
Were those different white people?
Let's get it back up. Let's settle this. Well,
As a white person, I honestly don't know.
Okay. Then I feel good.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Then I feel good.
this, well,
As a white
I think that's the same 2 white people in every one of them. I wonder if the girl is Elon's sister.
I honestly don't know.
Okay. Then I feel good.
I mean, I think it's the same actor playing Gabriel, right?
What about the woman?
I think it's the same woman
Okay.
playing the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the same people.
Okay, so it's people from CNN versus people from Have I Got News for You?
Yeah,
But
those
Amber
are
is
the same
from-
people. Just
She's
slightly
got her own
different
show
sideburns
and
on-
she's on.
Amber and Matt, here are 3 facts about J.D. Vance. He can't smell onions. His favorite song is Take Me to Church. His middle name at birth was Donald.
Now, let's keep in mind, they just chose based on what they wanted to be true.
And it worked for them.
And it worked for them.
Mm.
What do
Onions.
you want to be true?
I want his middle name at birth to be Donald. Now, favorite song is Take Me to Church. They're trying to bait us, man.
That's true.
That's too much fun.
Onions.
Can't
Can't smell onions.
onions. Well, then how's he gonna know when he's around? You know I have not smelled them, but you know he smells them. Matt, what do you want to be true?
I want Donald.
Now, can you splice that?
No.
Just play that over and over.
But didn't J.D. Vance change his name a bunch of times?
Yes, he did.
And that's why it's correct.
Wait, what?
His middle name at birth was Donald. J.D. Vance has changed his full legal name twice. He was born James Donald Bowman, then became James David Hamill, before finally landing on James David Vance. Now, I never thought I would say this, but I need to see his birth certificate. Too many name changes, JD.
But also, if I'm changing my name that much, it's going to get exponentially better every time. Those are lateral moves. Like,
They're family members. It's not like he's
Is that what it was?
He's not trying to glow up.
It was like a sad
There's some sadness involved with this family.
oh, now I'm mean.
Well, why not?
You were mean before, Robin. It's
That's true.
okay.
Thanks.
Okay, but why do just one name? Why not do like the other people where you just keep adding names? You become James, Donald, Jamar, David, Vance.
You think there was ever a chance it was going to be Jamar in there?
You saw me trying to keep the Jamar down. I was James.
James.
Senator from Ohio. Jamar, that's not a name.
I mean,
Oh,
not
shit.
white rural, white Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know any white
No.
Jamars.
I know a white Keisha, though. Do you know that's a Scottish name?
Keisha?
Yes.
You know a white Keisha?
Yes. But it's like
I
a name
do,
that
too.
now we have started using. But yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
guys
is.
are always ripping off our culture.
Actually, I do. Her name's Keisha McDaniel. Go figure. Yeah, I knew it was a Scottish name originally because of her. And it was because when I met her in school, she remarked that it was cool that I have an entirely Irish name because I am of Irish descent. But she remarked on how my first, middle, and last name was all Irish, and her first, middle, and last name was all Scottish. I forget her middle name, but Keisha McDaniel. Pretty cool. Oh my God.
This is the vampire Louis Dulac. All you cowards out there talking.
For Trump, if he can't control himself where he gets so aggrieved all the time and goes into the grievance, he had so many opportunities. And I think he went in there with the notion, I am going to highlight her record and what happened. But then he didn't
Okay, but let's not overthink it. This is like you had a wedding and it didn't go exactly as you wanted, but no one else really knows it. Trump controlled
other people know this didn't go
but
as
Trump
you wanted.
controlled himself more than normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
More people.
I don't think that's an argument that's going to make people feel good.
From that point of view.
Top Republican fundraiser and former Republican Speaker of the House, Kevin.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Oh, wow.
Now we've got the stars of the upcoming film, The Apprentice, Jeremy Strong and Sebastian Stan. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, Sebastian, you play Donald Trump. Jeremy, you play Roy Cohn. Both of you guys, first of all, pulled in a masterful performance. The movie was great, but your guys' performance was absolutely stellar. Just right off the bat, to kind of level set here, because he may not be as well known as Donald Trump. Jeremy, can you give some insight into who Roy Cohn is?
Sure. Roy Cohn was a lawyer and essentially a power broker. He was Joe McCarthy's chief counsel during the McCarthy hearings. And one of the first things he did was send Ethel and Julius Rosenberg to the electric chair when he was in his early 20s. He became a very, very successful, prominent New York lawyer who represented everyone from Cardinal Spellman to George Steinbrenner to the bosses of the mob families to Aristotle Onassis.
I feel tapped out. It's been enough.
greed, spins of pain, the talks decree, the face, surrender now.